Hello friends and welcome to the Common Corner. I'll be quite honest, I didn't really expect myself to film a video today. It is a Sunday, the day of my usual Sunday sit-downs with you all. And I've been feeling quite jet-lagged. I returned from Hong Kong about 5 days ago, on Tuesday morning. And it's now about 6:30 p.m, but it's like 3 a.m. in Hong Kong, or 2 a.m. in Hong Kong. Something like that. And the jet lag has not yet passed, and I've been feeling quite tired, even though I've been taking it super easy. Since I came back. I've been taking it super easy since I came back. So yeah, I wasn't really feeling like doing a video today, and I think the reason for that is because I had quite high expectations for myself to make like a big stationary recap from Hong Kong, because when I visit new countries, well, not new countries, when I visit outside of the UK, when I travel and make memories abroad, I usually like to then get stationery from there, so that whenever I use that stationery, it kind of brings a memory with it. But I did not have the energy to make that kind of a recap this weekend. And I feel like I always need a bit of time with my new items and with my new stickers before I can talk about them. I need to kind of become their friend. So today I thought that we'll just instead, well, actually, okay, let's backtrack just a few moments. So as I was saying, I didn't quite feel like I had the energy to do my original video plan. And then I was just gonna be like, okay, let me just pass on the video today. If I don't feel like making one, I usually don't make one. But then I was like, oh no, I miss talking to I miss talking to you guys. And I miss talking about my notebook and about my daily pages. So here I am with a slightly alternated plan for this evening. Another thought is that I don't think I'm gonna keep making these evening sit-downs. I was really excited about the idea of doing like evening cozy hangouts with me and with myself, but I realized that I actually really enjoy filming during the daytime a lot more, because I'm able to see the texture on my pages better, and I'm usually not as sleepy as well. So yeah, I'm just gonna be filming whenever that suits me, I guess. But I don't want to place an expectation on myself that I would need to keep doing an evening kind of series until the end of October, or yes, so just to say that, I guess. Okay, it's funny because when I don't have a plan for the video, it will go all over the place, and that's okay. I think that's okay. So yes, I wasn't going to make a video, but then I realized I will miss it, and I'm gonna miss talking about my daily pages, especially because my partner is still in Hong Kong. He's staying there for an extra 10 days, and I usually get to talk about my daily pages to him, but now he's not here, and I don't have a lot of other friends who are into journaling in the same way, apart from my partner, in real life. I mean, like, I don't see them every day. My journaling friends, I don't really get to see them every day, so I have a lot to talk about in terms of my journal, and I want to share it. Also, I think this might be the first time that I have my nails painted on this channel, because I work in hospitals as a medical student, and you're not allowed to have nail varnish on there. But now I just finished my pediatric placement, as I mentioned in my previous video, and I have about a week's break of just like studying and lectures before I start my next placement, which is in obstetrics and gynecology. So I have a week's break before I have to take my nail varnish off. So I decided to make use of it, and I have this, I'm sure it looked quite silvery on the video, but it's kind of like a gold silver metallic thing. I think it looks quite nice in this light, actually. I enjoy it. Okay, so what I'd like to talk about is my travel logs in Hong Kong, my daily pages in Hong Kong. I'd like to kind of start that conversation a bit with myself of what happened in Hong Kong, how do I feel about it all, and how has it felt to come back. And you can kind of hear that sigh, because the trip was a lot in the best way, but also it was a lot kind of emotionally, because there was a lot of family related events that me and my partner attended when we were there, and some of the things stirred up some things. So because of that, it was like emotionally quite a lot, to be honest. So yeah, I think you've seen all of these pages, and this is where we headed off to Hong Kong, I think, or here actually, yeah. And I will say that because it was a lot of these pages are still quite incomplete, and I'm really taking my sweet time with this trip to go back in when I feel ready to go back in. These are my logbooks, so I really do want to go back in and fill in the thoughts I remember having on these days. However, I do have so much ephemera from Hong Kong that the plan is to, you know, fill these pages with more like the essential memories and kind of the key thoughts that I had from that day. And yes, and then after I've kind of finished up the key things from here, we went to a wedding there as well, which was really beautiful, and it was my first kind of traditional Cantonese style wedding. But it was also my birthday the next day. So then in the after party of the wedding, everyone actually surprised me with a cake and sang to me, and they got me like a birthday hat. And I just put in one of the tassels from the birthday hat into the page to kind of remember that and have like a tactile memory of the evening. And then yes, the next day was my birthday, so I made a whole page about it and wrote about my thoughts. And I haven't had the best luck on my birthdays for the last like 4-ish years. I've been ill every birthday, except last year. I had big plans and they actually all fell through, so it wasn't the best time either. But this time around, everything went well and great, and I had a really beautiful birthday. So I'm very grateful for that. And then we were getting towards the end of September. I can't believe it. September went by really quickly. But I had like the most beautiful day on the last day of September. Also, I enjoyed making this spread on the last day of September. I had been saving this sticker from the Manchester Stationery Fest literally since then, which was at the end of June, knowing that I would use it for October's cover page. And I want to say where this is from. I think it's in my commonplace book, actually, a new commonplace book. I need to talk about this at another time. Yes, Honey Plum Paper. Yeah, so this is from Honey Plum Paper. I have a few of their other stickers, but every time somehow I'm really bad with names, so I need to always sneak a peek at the name. I think I'm just getting a bit emotional looking at these pages because I really loved my time in Hong Kong, and it was really important to me, this trip. It kind of transformed a lot of the things I know about my partner Ka, who you might have met on this channel before, and it really transformed the way that I look at Hong Kong. We stayed at one of Ka's relatives' places instead of, you know, like an Airbnb, so that was also a whole other experience. And I really got more of I understood more what it means to be a Hong Konger, and I understood more how majority of the people in Hong Kong live and their lifestyles and so on. So it was a really different type of trip compared to the one I made 1.5 years ago. And 1.5 years ago, I was not in a book, and I did not save any of my ephemera from that trip, which is really quite sad, which is why this time I saved absolutely everything, and I'm going to be filling up a whole traveler's notebook insert with that ephemera, with that extra ephemera, because it does not all fit here. So I saved a lot because I'm so afraid of forgetting these memories, because I feel like there was only so many things that I can remember from just photos from the previous trip. Yes. Then we have a few blank pages after a couple of more kind of difficult days, where I was just supporting my partner a lot in going through some family related things. And then on the weekend we had just full days where we were out the whole time, and we were nearby water. We were in a theme park called Ocean Park. And then the next day we went kayaking. So we were nearby water the whole time, and I couldn't risk bringing my book and having it get soaked. And a lot of my ink is water-based, so I would like lose all of my text. And I was like, I actually had a nightmare about it. So I was like, I'm not bringing my book with me, which is very rare for me because I'm usually not afraid of my book getting like dirty or something like that. I bring it with me everywhere. But when I went to a water-themed theme park, and like sea creatures themed theme park, and we went to some of those like water slides where you get like completely wet as well, and the next day we went kayaking, and the kayak was like, when you're doing the kayaking, literally the water is splashing everywhere, so I could not risk it. So these days are empty. And since coming back from Hong Kong, you can see here, like, look at the difference. This is when I came back on Tuesday, and I finally had time to myself. This is the only ephemera that I managed to stick down from Ocean Park. And here we are. I was back on Monday. I don't think did I really tune into this moment even? So it's Sunday, and it was about 6:30 p.m. when I started filming. The sun is indeed starting to set earlier and earlier, so it's already dark. But yeah, so literally almost a week ago is these pages, and I had so much to talk about in the beginning, to the point that these pages were not enough, and I was moving into my other notebook to keep writing and talking about things. These were actually really good days, and it really shows on my pages. And then the past few days have been a bit more busier. I've been kind of finishing up my term, this term where I've been in child health or pediatrics, and I've been trying to finish it up, and I've been quite overwhelmed actually, because I think the jet lag is still playing up, and I'm home alone quite a bit, and I am socially a bit exhausted, so I haven't been seeing that many friends either. I've only seen like 2 friends since I've come back within a week. And I think that sometimes puts my head into a bit of a funk, because I like to talk my thoughts out loud, and when I don't get to do it, my head gets a bit like muddled. I don't know if that's the right word, but it gets a bit like sticky. And I need to keep writing stuff out. That's kind of my way of clearing things. But I think the weekend I have been quite tired. Yeah. I think even though I don't have like a full I don't have completed thoughts to present about Hong Kong, I wanted to still talk about the daily pages in more detail. But given that I don't have all of them finished yet, I think I'd like to just talk a bit about the plan that I have to archive this trip that was so meaningful to me. So basically, I think the first step, and something I'm gonna enjoy doing this evening as well, is go all the way back to when we first started the trip, which was on the 25th of September. I think just on that day, I wrote a lot about kind of that in that morning before we left. And on the plane, I watched 3 movies. I watched The Lesson, which actually had a fountain pen on the cover of the movie, on the movie poster, and that was what caught my attention. And a fountain pen was featured maybe 5 times in 5 scenes, so not very many times, but it was there. It was there, and it was very good. And the concept of analog writing over digital was prominent, and I highly recommend it. I think I'm gonna rate it like 4 stars out of 5 or 3.5, but I'm a very harsh rater, so anything above 3 is very, very good. So I recommend it. Then I watched kind of like a comedy called Sweet Dreams, which is very touching actually, and I had a good cry. I cry like very easily on the plane. It's just a very reflective time because you're literally away from your life physically, in the sky, and you get some perspective that you wouldn't have on the ground, at least for me. And then I watched Fall Guy, which is just a very like, how to say, Hollywood movie, but it was really fun. So I need to still like write my ratings and who the director is for all of them. And then I have a bit of text about when we landed, which I hope I can fit in here. Because these are basically my reference pages when it comes to filling up my actual like extra ephemera travel journal. And these are the reference pages that I'm going to be looking at a lot more probably than the travel journal that I just briefly showed to you. I actually have a few of the stickers that I got from Hong Kong here. Oh my god, the stickers in Hong Kong. It's just like a whole other level of like stickers. It's absolutely amazing. And there was also free stickers at the airport. Yes, so tune into that when I have the energy to make like a full kind of excited chat about the stationery in Hong Kong. I will be making it, and I'm just really excited to show it to you guys because you'll understand the excitement. But I've kept a couple of the like receipts. I mean, in Hong Kong we did not make food once. It's so cheap to eat outside. So we literally ate breakfast, lunch and dinner outside, and a couple of like street food snacks in between. So I have a lot of receipts and I kept all of them, but I will be putting majority of them in the travel journal because there's just too many. But I feel very important to keep all of them. I think there's just such tactile memories of what happened. Like, yeah, although I am worried about some of them fading, but I will be writing on them like what that receipt was. So even if they've faded, I have the piece of paper from that moment that I touched when I purchased that piece of food, you know, when I purchased dinner or something. But I'll be writing on the receipts, where they're from. This was really nice. The first weekend, I actually had a bit of extra time by myself because Ka, my partner, was like seeing a lot of old friends and stuff and preparing for the wedding because he was one of the groomsmen. So I had some extra time to myself, which was lovely because I could kind of really archive those key days of attending a wedding and meeting all of my partner's friends because I didn't meet them last time I was in Hong Kong, and then my birthday as well. And these are just really, I get such happiness from these pages, so I'm very excited to like get to then kind of put more effort into archiving the days for the rest of the pages as well. This one is really lovely as well. And I think this receipt, this receipt was like, we were getting some like traditional Hong Kong fast food, including this like peanut butter French toast. Like they have peanut butter in between and then it's like a French toast, but it's like slightly fried, like deep fried. So it's crispy, and then they put butter and like condensed milk on top. And then you have it with the yin yang milk tea coffee. And it's really good. And I kept the receipt because it's like my favorite meal. It's low-key very unhealthy, but it's very, very good. And then later that day we went to a swimming pool, like an outside swimming pool. And that was the first time that I saw bats. Like I saw bats like flying above us. It was very getting ready for October. And then the next day actually, I saw some bats like even more closely on the 1st of October. I think we went to a beach that day. Yeah, we did. We went to a beach to have a swim, and as the sun set, the bats came out, and they were like fruit bats, so kind of like on the smaller side, but very like they were just everywhere. Like they were swarming above us. It was kind of insane because it was very spooky, and like those bats just invited Halloween season for me. And yeah, this is actually a sticker of the French toast that I mentioned earlier, but it's like a Hong Kong style French toast. Because Hong Kong is it's a British colony. Used to be. The politics of it is a bit complicated, but there's a lot of like Western influence in Hong Kong. So they have a lot of like fusion food, a lot of food that has like, reminds you of some kind of Western food, but it's definitely not something you would find in the West. Like this specific French toast. Obviously we have French toast in the West, but not this kind of French toast. Yeah. And then I actually got on this specific day, I'll mention a few of my stationery finds, I guess. I got a fountain pen. I know I've said many times on this channel that I wouldn't get another fountain pen. You know, these two Kawekos are enough for me. But if there is a MUJI fountain pen for £4 staring right at me, and the ink cartridges are £1 for 4 ink cartridges, like, I will absolutely be getting it. And she is so beautiful. It's really, really, really nice. And I've been writing into my commonplace book with this one. I know I've said like, I think last month or something, that I was having some commonplace book troubles. And commonplacing has always been very, very important to me ever since I started my practice of keeping books and keeping up with them every day and engaging with them daily. And my books have really become good friends to me. So ever since that practice kind of developed, commonplacing has been very important to me. But in the summertime, I really kind of fell out of touch with my commonplace book. But I've now found a solution, and it makes me very happy, and I will be talking about it another time. But this has become my commonplacing pen, and I really like that there's a difference between this daily archival book, my Hobonichi Cousin avec, where I write with my Kaweko All Sport in like this black matte color. And then the ink here is black, and then I have like a burgundy colored one, and the ink there is red. I think this pen might have another color as like the official name, but I have forgotten. But it's like a deep red burgundy color. It's very difficult to see in this light. That's why I want to start filming during the daytime again, because I filmed during the day in the previous video, which was very spontaneous. And I was like, oh my gosh, I've really missed this. So I think I'm going to be moving into filming during the daytime again. But yes, I enjoy having a bit of a difference in terms of my writing utensil. And this one just fits the vibe for commonplacing. I don't know why. It's very good to write with for like a really long period of time. And I believe that every pen has its own soul. And this pen, it's just, it's meant for commonplacing for me personally, and it wouldn't work in these pages. I think I tried to write with it like, when I first came back to London. Oh yeah, here we don't have a lot of things written. I was about to not even pick up my book like these 2 days, but it felt very important to like write some of the thoughts that I had fresh. Even here, I wrote a very like small piece of text, but I wrote it in all caps, in capital letters. And I was just hoping that in the future, even though I don't have time to do a proper piece of writing because it was already past midnight and we were exhausted, I would remember the feeling. And I'm really glad that I did write even these little pieces of information here. And then these days I remember vividly, so it's okay even if I don't have anything here. But of course, this is going to be my first little project, like backfilling these pages. They're very important to me, these pages, so I take priority in them. And afterwards, when these pages are filled, which is just a few pages to be honest. Oh yeah, I was saying something else. Oh yeah, when I came back to London, I wrote with this in here for a bit, but it didn't feel right. And I very quickly then switched to writing with my normal pen to finish that thought. Yes, so once those pages are finished, I will be archiving the rest of the memories, photographs, film photo, all of the ephemera. And actually, I'm not sure if it's peeking through here, it might not be, but I have organized all of the ephemera in this tote bag. Okay, to be honest, in here is also like a lot of my stationery and like books and stuff that I got from there. But I have like a little accordion situation going on, and this was actually recommended to me by someone, and I'm so sorry. I just remember that I read it, and it was addressed to me. It was either in my comments or in my DMs, but jet lag has my brain on a completely other kind of wavelength right now, and I can't, like, everything feels confusing and weird. And hence I'm also like so slow at responding to messages, which I'm very sorry about. But yes, someone recommended to me this accordion situation, and I will be getting back to you, friend. I will find this message. So yes, this accordion situation to like archive the page, like kind of to organize the stationery and the extra ephemera. I didn't mean to say stationery, it's just to archive the extra ephemera. So I have all of it in here, kind of separated by days, so I will be easily able to find it. When I then finally go in, and I will be following kind of the layout of these pages in terms of what happened. Like, these are my references, and then my photographs, of course, but these pages will be my references for like, what was the feeling of the day? And then I will be slotting all of these in, as much of it as I can, at least. There's 60 pages in the Traveler's Notebook insert, so they should be fitting in, I hope. But there's a lot. There's a lot in here. I'm trying to see how I can get this back in here. I think that's part of why traveling and coming back from your travels feels so exhausting, is because this was a very important trip to me. And I brought a lot back with me, like, well, ephemera. I would say about like 70% of my stuff were just ephemera. 20% were new stationery. Also this tray, someone asked me in the previous video, I hope you're watching, by the way. I'll also get back to you. I just need a bit of patience, and thank you for everyone's patience so far. This tray is from the MUJI in Hong Kong. I don't think they stock it in the UK right now. At least I haven't been to a MUJI in the UK for a few weeks, so I don't know, but they have this in Hong Kong, and it's just from MUJI. It's very beautiful. But I'm sure that you can find them elsewhere as well, hopefully, if you're looking to get one. Yes, so coming back from a trip does feel very exhausting, because there's so much to sort out. There's a lot to sort out, and my energy is not the same that it usually is as well. But I'm trying to take it slowly. The next week, I'm not going to be in the hospitals at all. I just have lectures. However, I do have lectures from 9 to 5 every day, so also that's not the easiest. But I'm trying to take it very slowly and not like fill my days to its fullest. Like, that's something that I'm trying to practice doing right now. And it's not the easiest, to be honest. I'm trying to move my body a bit to kind of get some extra energy from there. And of course, write my thoughts down. That really helps. And yes, like, oh yeah, and well, this is yesterday, and then this is today. So I guess I have a bit of filling to do here as well. But for me, I always tell myself that I don't need to backfill my pages. Like, I don't need to backfill these if I don't feel like it. But eventually, I always end up having some thoughts about that day specifically, and I just come back here and I just fill it in with the thoughts that I had about that day. So eventually, they kind of get filled in inevitably, even though I don't really make an effort to do so. I'm just flipping through my pages, and then I think about that day, and I'm like, oh yeah, I had that thought that day, and I just archive it down here. But I've been enjoying my new stationery from Hong Kong when I've been kind of doing some decorations. I have some washi tape here, and a bit of PET tape. I've gotten my first ever like PET samples that I've like purchased myself. I don't think I'm ever gonna get a full PET like pet tape roll, because there's a lot of the repeats, and I feel like the designs would lose their meaning to me personally if I kept seeing the same design over and over again. So I just had a opportunity to purchase just like one repeat of the pet tape. But I'll be talking about that a bit more later on in the next, well, I don't know when the video is going to come out, because I think it's going to be, I want to think about it. And take my time. So yes, anyway, this is actually a PET tape that I got. And then here as well, these are all stickers that I got. It was from one specific sticker sheet. And it's just a good calm vibe, which is exactly what I need right now. And we are here, 13th of October, which must be a lucky date, even though it's a Sunday and not a Friday. 13th in October, I think, is still a lucky day. And my day has rolled well. It's ending very nicely as well. I'm really glad that I turned on the camera and I had a little chat, because it's always a very grounding, and I think it's a good ending to my week. I haven't done my little Comment Corner community counter in a while. It's always so beautiful to see how many of you are walking through the door and joining me around this little table, and I just like to welcome you all with this kind of counter that includes every single one of you. If you haven't subscribed, that's totally okay as well. I still consider you to be part of the Comment Corner community, as long as you will feel welcomed and calm in this channel. But yes. Oh yes, okay, final thought. My brain, this is why I should film earlier in the day, which I'm excited to do next week, because my brain is skippy. Like it doesn't really hold its track of thought as well during the evening. Regarding working on that travel journal, so this one, which I mentioned, this is just the Tokyo special edition insert, but I put Hong Kong here. Like I made a little have a nice trip to Hong Kong instead of Tokyo, and I know that everything else on this insert is like Tokyo themed, but I'm just choosing to ignore it and just see it as like a very nice insert. And it also has like red foiling, and it's like black and red, and that's my colors. I really love black and red. Actually, I haven't, no, I'm lying, there's black and red everywhere. Okay. I thought I haven't used red that much. And then I have a little Hoko cafe, which is a Hong Kong style traditional cafe here in London. It's my favorite place to get Hong Kong style food. So I just have that sticker here at the back. And I've started to, there's a few things that are already in here, but why I mentioned this just now is because I am thinking of hosting a little live, very just experimental and chill, but I'm thinking to do a little live of me working on this travel journal. I will let you know in the community tab. I can't promise that it will be like a long notice. It might be very short notice, but I will let you know in the community tab nevertheless, and on my Instagram at @the.commentcorner. Because I don't think I have energy to edit this video, so I just have to tell you what the Instagram is, at @the.commentcorner. Or I guess I don't have to say at in the beginning, do I? So just the.commentcorner. Okay. Anyway, I'll tell you in the community tab and on Instagram when I'm gonna be hosting the live. But it's just me turning the camera on and having a little like iPad here to see your comments and what everyone is doing when they're joining me. And hopefully we can have a little like scrapbooking, travel journaling session together. Do let me know if you would be like interested in that. I'll be doing it anyway, but I'm just excited to gauge what the interest would be generally. But it will anyway be happening either next week or the week after that. Totally depends on my energy levels and my time and how I'm kind of gathering my thoughts on the trip. Because like I've said now many times, it was like one of the most meaningful trips of my life, and I have a lot more thoughts on it to say than what I've had the chance to say now. But oh, I've lost my train of thought again. Goodness. Yes, so because it was a very important trip to me and there was a lot more there than I've had the chance to now share, I want to take my time in getting kind of the idea of how I really feel and what every day meant to me before I go in and archive it. I know that that might feel like I'm thinking about it too much, or maybe I'm overthinking it, but I'm really trying not to do that. I'm trying to be intentional with it. Yeah, those are my thoughts now on, you know, the trip to Hong Kong and how I'm feeling now that I'm back. It's never easy coming back from a big trip, I think. So yes, but thank you for tuning in and thank you for joining me in the Comment Corner community. I'm very grateful to have this space to get to chat to. Yes. Okay, I think I will leave you with that, and I will see you next weekend, next week on Sunday, hopefully. And until, I hope that you are having a week that is treating you well and all the things that you're wishing for are coming true. Okay, I will see you later. Bye bye.